Yeah, good morning, good day. It's very short tutorial. So, I wanted to help us learn something that will help us in the tech world, and that is documentation. So, I know there are so many documentations you can use, but the one I found so favorable and the one I use is DevDocs. So, DevDocs is to get it first. You have to install it. It can run online, but to help you work and use dev tools, DevDocs, while you're offline, you have to install it. So to use it, we have to use it first before we can install it. So to use it, just open your browser, go to devdocs.io. That's devdocs.io. When you do, it opens like this, and you can see some of these things. Here you have disabled ones. Yeah, we are not concerned with them. Here you can see the enabled um, languages and skills like that. So um, to see anyone, let's say for instance NumPy now. If you click NumPy, you get this from here. Depending on how the documentation is, you can see download documentation. You have user guide here, you have reference guide, you have all in zip format, and as the case may be, it mustn't follow a particular way. So this one is getting started. New to NumPy. Check out the absolute beginner guide. So you can just click here to see the absolute beginner guide to NumPy. Yes, that's what you're going to get. But then let's say we go off. Okay, now assuming, okay, let me check this first before I continue. Okay, so these are all installed in my system. So I'm going to demonstrate with NumPy. So let me uninstall NumPy, matplotlib, pandas, and leave only latex. So let's go back. Now back to this. I refresh my system. Now if I click NumPy, I will see all this. If I go to absolute beginner, the reference guide, or the contributors guide, I will still get the documentation. From here you can walk yourself through. But if I go offline and come back here and refresh this, okay, it's not fully refreshing. So do a complete refresh. I press and hold Control F5. See, it's not telling me no internet, because Control F5 helps you to refresh your system and load from the server, the remote server. If you do normal refresh, it might reload from cached file. But when you do Control F5, it reloads from the main server, the remote server. So this now tells us that NumPy is not okay. Now NumPy is off, but if I do DevDocs, it still loads. Okay, still loads the refresh one, but I think if I shut down and reboot my system, this will be lost. But to avoid this, what we do is you go back online. Then we go back online. I'm now connected. I click these three dots and click offline data. Now offline data, you come to Matplotlib, click install. NumPy, I also click install. Pandas, I click install. Can equally come here and search for Python, for instance. First say enable. if you enable it, it will now come into offline data. So I click enable, and it comes like this. I go back to offline data. Now I can see Python to install. I can now install Python so that I can now have my documentation, Python documentation also. To use it, simply you can come here as a new beginner, click Python. From here, have all to read. Okay, this is Python. You can see Python tutorial. Now gives me the Python tutorial. From here, I can read, and I advise you do. Now, to read it is not difficult. Like from my experience, I would say you can start from the number three. Okay, you can start from number 2. Then I'll start from number 3. Click like this. Then I can open my terminal so that I can run the codes. Now, you mustn't run your own codes in terminal. You can use your Jupyter notebook. Jupyter notebook does work very, very well. So this is my, you can now say Python. Oh, sorry, all I have is Python 3. I have it. I can now say 2 plus 2 gives me 4. So I can say 50 minus 5 times 6 gives me 20. So in essence, what you do is you read this text, then these ones that are highlighted in this format, you type them in and run them and see how they respond, how they execute. So in a nutshell, that's it for DevDocs. If you have any question, do let